Here, I'll make it big so you can see. Full screen. Bob LaFrance is called in. And we should be able to get, if we go to participants here, there's Town of Groton staff, who's the host, which is you, and Bob LaFrance are only two. You might get an attendee if you get a number that goes in attendees. That means somebody else is called in, somebody that might want to say something. Okay.
Still on the agenda.
Oh, I thought you gave me one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait.
All right. Hey, Sam.
All right,
Come on up. Join the party. So I heard there's another change talking to Mike this afternoon. I heard another change talking to Mike this afternoon for next week's attendance kind of thing.
6:05, we'll call the meeting to order. What do I got to do? Do I have to click on anything?
No, you should be able to hear Bob. I mean, you shouldn't have to do anything.
Oh, good.
Bob, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us, Bob?
Let's see, he's not. Let's see if he's muted.
Oh, we got no attendees, 2 panelists.
No, it doesn't look like he's muted or anything. You should be able to hear him.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Bob. Can't hear him. I don't know. We got some more for Bob. Make co-host, change, rename, remove. We should be hearing him. I don't know.
Oh, he's connecting the audio.
Okay, so he'll be connected on the phone probably. Oh, he said he was going to connect on his computer. We won't be able to see him, but
All right, let's see. There's 4 of us here, so we at least have a quorum, and Bob's online somewhere.
Yep.
So we have a quorum. Citizens petitions, I don't see any citizens. So we'll move on from that one. Did anybody look at the minutes for August 20th?
I'll move August 20th minutes of 2020.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor or any discussion?
Yeah, one,
What do you
at
got?
the end of the meeting on 7A, adjournment,
Yeah,
it stated that the next meeting will be September 17th instead of September 3rd.
oh, so yeah. Yeah, so what he did is he picked that up for our next meeting as opposed to this meeting.
That's correct.
right.
Okay, we'll get that changed.
Yeah, we'll change that.
For some reason, I figured there's no meeting this on the 3rd.
Okay, well, let's go home. We're all done.
All right, we'll make the changes. All in favor? Aye. Aye, Tom. So moved. Perfect. All right, next. Communications and reports. Do we have anything from permanent school building committee members?
I have nothing.
I got nothing either.
No.
All right, consultants.
Okay, generally, we didn't bring in any. We generally do our team, Arcadis, and folks under staff. So if we have no consultants visiting.
Well, we have no consultants. Staff and program manager.
Okay, we've been moving towards the opening of the middle school. I'll let me fill in the details. We are working hard on the CO. We have had numerous communications with the superintendent, what the requirements are for the schools over the last few days. It's almost like twice, 2-3 times a day, just to get things straightened out. So things are moving and
Yep.
things are moving forward, and we're on schedule. We'll get a temporary or a conditional certificate of occupancy with some items that we have to complete within a certain period of time. And then once that's completed, we'll have a longer term thing and eventually. So I'll talk just a little bit about that, Tammy, because what we talk about is eventually we need to talk about how the school gets turned over to the Board of Ed. If you recall, last time the committee had to write a letter to the council saying everything was fine and the building got turned over to the Board of Ed.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That won't happen or shouldn't happen until we get the permanent certificate of occupancy, which could be as late as November, early November or the end of October, based on pieces and parts that Tammy will fill you in on that aren't completed or need to get completed along the way.
Right.
So we need to kind of look forward to that and start thinking about how that happens, and I'll dig up some of the old correspondence.
So the temporary CO still gets us open, gets the kids
Yeah,
into
it gets us
school.
in, gets us there.
Okay.
And like I said, it's conditional on completing these items, which
Right.
the first list of items
That happens
is
all the time.
relatively easy to do, I would say. So, and then we'll have, and those were immediate items
Right,
for Tuesday, and then we'll have, or actually for the end of next week, and then we'll have a longer.
they have a list of stuff they want you to have done,
Yeah,
you know, like a,
Yeah, right.
order of
yeah,
importance
there's
and
an
all
order
that.
of
Okay.
importance. There's documents that have been submitted, substantial completion reports, which have punch lists attached to them. So all those things have to be done and verified for the final certificate of occupancy. So that process is going on, but so we're in relatively good shape as far as that goes, but I'll let Tammy fill you in on the rest of the stuff that's going on, because there is a whole lot of things happening over there, right, Tam?
Yep, so
All right.
basically as what Rick said, we're working on getting the building ready. We have all the items in for the faculty and staff. They've been in the building going on 2 weeks now. So they're continuing to unpack. We still have the movers on site that are assisting with that. All the floors have been turned over for final clean. We've hired a company to come in and final clean, as mentioned last meeting, also to do the
Yeah.
sanitization. So that's happening simultaneously. So we've turned over building A, which is the classroom wing, that's all final cleaned. Building B, which is the STEM classrooms, and a portion of C and a portion of D. The only thing that we're going to have outstanding at this point that won't be ready for school is the small performance area and the black box and the gymnasium. So we are working with the electrician in the small performance and the black box to try to focus on like the immediate lighting as opposed to theatrical lighting.
Okay,
So we can get the teachers in there sooner because right now we're looking at the end of September for those two spaces to be completed. So we are working with the electrician to get it sooner
okay,
in that area. And the gymnasium, so we started ripping up the floor.
Yeah.
So that's all been completed. They're going to start bringing in the materials now and start replacing the floor. So the bleachers, they should be delivered very shortly. Those should be delivered the middle of September. And then we're gonna work on finalizing the striping, the polyurethane coating, and get all that finished before we get the bleachers installed.
okay. So we've met all the state's needs as far as COVID goes?
So we are working, I just met with Sam, finalizing the plexiglass shields
Okay,
in the total amount that we need. So we'll be putting in an order for that. There's a total of 21 plexiglass shields, including in the kitchen area as well.
yeah,
So those will be installed. When school opens, and speaking with the principal, right now the students will be having a kiosk, if you will, lunch stations. So they'll be handing out lunches at that point.
okay.
And then they also have their COVID regulations.
Okay, now once school is in session, we still have work to do. What's our plan? They're gonna work nights, they're gonna work weekends, or how are we attacking that?
Yep, so during school, what we're gonna do is, they have a hybrid schedule.
Yep.
So, and they have Wednesdays off.
Right.
So we're gonna utilize that Wednesday and doing the punch, working that day.
Yep.
And then we're gonna utilize working second shift and weekends.
Okay,
To get the items done.
Yep.
So the fields, they are continuing with the athletic fields and the softball fields.
yeah, I see that.
We are working with the superintendent right now and the principal, and we're looking at putting the striping in October right now because they don't have the gym availability for gym class. So the synthetic turf field is another area where they can have gym.
Mhm.
So we did have that discussion, and Rick had that discussion with the superintendent.
Yeah, we did have an
as well.
opportunity for September, like September 14th. The Board of Ed asked that not occur then because of the educational and the PE needs of the school. So that got pushed off, and we're gonna have to come up with a date with the contractor on when that can be done. So
Okay.
it's still in the plan. I think if there's things that happen beforehand, and Sam can chime in if he wants, but the superintendent said if they need the field or need field hockey stuff before that, they'll paint stripes on the field. So, and he was concerned that the stripes would or would not interfere with the sewn-in striping. They won't interfere with the sewn-in striping. So
Okay.
eventually that paint, once it's put on, will wear off as time goes on anyway. So that should be okay. So we are ready. We are ready to go. It's just a timing issue with the school.
So we also had our health inspection yesterday for the kitchen, and that passed. So we're good. The staff has come in today, and they started unpacking. They started receiving their food. So that's they're working on getting that up and running, just to have it ready so they can make the sandwiches for the little kiosks for the students. As for anything else, we're just full bore at this point and working on getting everything finished. Subcontractors out of the building by the end of this weekend, and then we'll be ready to open on the 8th.
Okay.
So to add what Tammy's talking about, duct cleanings in progress. They haven't found any significant, dirt or whatever in the ducts, but they're continuing that duct cleaning, so that should be done too. There was a concern or request from Sam to put these particular filters in, which are called MERV 13, because that's what this consultant said on the other buildings. We already have those installed, plus we have a pre-filter. That's a MERV 8. So we actually have a double filter system in there to filter outside air coming into the building. So we more than meet that requirement, if you will.
Okay.
As you're aware, we talked about this parking or parking for the short buses and loop. That the plan is now, since we haven't got started, we need to get started. We still need a site plan mod sent to the planning folks, but we're going to start some initial work and put a fence in that area in the north part of the building. So right now there's an asphalt sidewalk there, and it's kind of a drop off. So the fence will be put in to enclose that area, and then work can continue during the school year as time allows, and we can coordinate with the principal in the school, so we don't interfere with things that are going on. So striping, you'll see the striping. We got signages going in. The town's putting together, while we're waiting to get the final approval on the monumental, if you want to call it that, the large sign at the bottom of the hill. Public Works sign shop's making up a couple directional signs for the bottom of the hill at Route 1 saying, Groton Middle School this direction, and then the other signs, directional signs on the site, so wayfinding signs will be put in Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, so they have an address on this sign. Are we going to have an address or just a sign saying?
Well, right now
entrance
we haven't put an address on, but it may be worthwhile. The issue we have is the address we were given was 35 Groton Long Point Road, because that's the lot address, and that's in the tax records and all that other sort of thing. The issue we have is it's not shown up on the GIS yet. So if you go to GIS, what you see is a lot. You don't see access to the lot from any particular direction. So I need to get a call into our GIS person and see what I need to do to get that put in there. So when people call it,
rear entrance.
so when they call it up, they can see the roads, they can see how you get into that site.
We got a mailbox.
Actually, we do have a mailbox, but the
Mailbox
mailbox is
is
at
on
the
the-
athletic.
Yeah. So they can always park someplace and walk in through the fields and go down the other.
I just have one thing. It's my own question more so. I don't think it's our concern. being that the gymnasium's not there, I'm not sure if the middle schools are even having gym as they go along. Do they have a classroom or a space if they are holding that class to meet somewhere else? As long as the gym is not available in the locker rooms and everything else?
So what the principal asked for is the field to be available for that this time of year. They do have other classes, you know, we got the dance studio, if you will, it's available, the other workout room that's available. So he was happy as long as he had the field at this point, while it's still not yet winter and so the
Okay,
gym.
there
The
is
gym will be-
spaces and they're happy to take care of it.
He's, I think we've met his concerns as far as PE recreational area for the school at this point.
I wasn't even sure if you.
What is their estimate on the gym floor being done?
And it's like the 18th, sometime between the 18th and the 25th of September.
Okay, so by the end of September, definitely.
Yeah, definitely
Okay.
by the end of September, the floor will be done, the bleachers will be in, the striping will be on, the cutouts and the stuff for the volleyball
So, I mean,
courts
they
and
only
all
got to
that
deal with it for 2-3 weeks.
stuff. Yeah,
you
it's
know.
not a long period of time.
Okay.
And I guess as a point of note, so a couple of things that else were done is there's some site conduits that need to go over to feed the fields. And so everybody got in front of that and got those in, and those are all placed in. And so now that walkway is safe for them to travel between
Right.
the building and that. And, you know, we kind of talked about that last time, but that has been executed, and so we're there with that. So
Yeah.
just as an update to where that stands.
Yeah,
There's
those are,
no impediment for them now to get to that field or have a walking problem to get there.
so those are the potential conduits for the field lighting there if that ever occurs. So those are going in the ground along with irrigation and other things with the field, so.
But it gives them the ability to get there safely without it.
Yeah, there's
Concern for
so
construction.
Tammy organized a paved area over that place. to make
Yeah,
sure
we're
they
gonna
could
have a
get there.
temporary paved area that comes from the walkway that comes up by the rock garden, right into the asphalt walkway in front of the synthetic turf field. We're just gonna continue with there. The other thing I wanted to add, the Fitch High School parking lot, so we have the binder course on there. The weather hasn't been very favorable, so they'll be back tomorrow, I believe, to pave. So that should be all paved by the end of this week. And then they're working, they installed the light poles, topsoiled it, so that'll all be set and ready to go for the start of the school as well.
So if you go by or drive by, they've done, scoured all the land, got most of all the weeds out. It's all been hydroseeded. So all those things are in place. They're continuing to plant trees and bushes and those things that can be planted this time of year. So things are getting, there's a few dead trees you may notice coming up the road. Those all will need to be
Yeah, I stayed away
replaced,
for
but
the past 2 weeks.
yeah, so they'll, all those things need to be taken care of, and we'll have a warranty probably starting soon and then going through the next year. So typically that stuff is warranted for a year.
We don't have visitors coming in at the end that Grasso started school yesterday.
I don't know, unless they got lost.
It's actually the other way around right now,
Yeah.
to be really honest with you.
Yeah,
There's
they all
people
go
that
down.
are coming in that are going to Grasso that shouldn't really be there, and there's needed to be some redirection as people start to
So,
learn that traffic pattern. So Wednesday was a perfect example of that. But, you know, I think that we're getting there, and, you know, the Grasso team is also aware of that. You know, there's a school that's starting up there, so there's been some redirection of traffic.
So if worst comes to worst, tell the mayor to stand out there in the parking lot.
Yeah.
She teaches there.
So it was.
I'll let you handle that one, my friend.
So it was this morning I was down there. The Grasso buses were all leaving around 7 o'clock in the morning. So there's not going to be any interference, it doesn't appear, at least with middle school at that driveway. And we'll have to see how it works out with the high school buses coming in and middle school buses after the high school buses
No,
on the top end.
my
there,
main
so.
concern with people coming out,
Yeah,
and
right.
just trying to check out the property and start walking in and everything.
Well, we're gonna start charging the state a fee because you drive down our driveway and you get this nice view of Grasso Tech there, you know, so it's an advertisement.
Right,
You know, so
Any other questions?
No, I think we're,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I think we're looking, like you said, I think we're looking good.
Yeah, we're
know.
definitely looking good.
I mean, it's been like any project at the end, it's been a
Yeah.
struggle to
Yeah.
get there from here,
Well,
but
I
it's like
mean,
everything.
you know, there was some stuff we couldn't get right away and, you know, I
Well,
mean, we had
yeah.
an issue with the floor that, you know, can't really
Right.
fault anybody, so,
Right.
but, you know, we're working
And,
on it.
and we have, you know, I guess I could put a, since all Eversource gets this bad press, we had to remove some temporary power cables that I've been talking with Eversource like the last 2 or 3 days straight, maybe 4 or 5 emails and half a dozen phone calls. And they've been very responsive to us as the
Good.
town, and they've been helpful, and it's nice to see somebody that really wants to work. So they actually sent a couple linemen out to review what's going on, and we thought they would be able to remove that for us tonight, but it's gonna be tomorrow evening, so,
Yeah,
you know,
we'll be all
just,
right.
from all the bad press they get, they do deserve some good press too.
Talking about the press, I don't know, is Bob on?
The
Well,
speakers
just
on,
listen, I just bring it up in the sense of somewhere down the line. You, town manager, mayor, or somebody, is somebody gonna go out and
well,
put some good public relations out there? with
well,
this
I've been
building
thinking
on
about
it?
that. I'll talk to my boss and see what he wants to do. I thought we ought to call or get a picture or
It's
something.
not so much ribbon cutting, a lot of people are hearing about it, school starting, I mean, even with the questions and scare tactics with COVID, it'll probably be a
Right.
good article to have a plus on how the school
Well,
is laid out.
and even like
safe.
some of the other schools where you saw pictures of kids going to the building the first day or something, it's just something like that, that's a kind of just a little feel-good thing, saying, hey, the school, we worked on it, it's done, it's being used. So I had that on my list to talk about. I'll talk about that tomorrow with our powers that be.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
see.
even if we can get Mark Russell out there to, you know,
Right.
interview some kids and see
Right,
what they think,
right.
you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because we get good press, if we give them some good press on this, the people at least will be a little bit more positive as the elementary schools come
Right,
along
right.
too.
I understand.
So, you know, we have, what I'm being told is the students will be doing tours next week into the schools, and then that might be a good opportunity, you know, Rick, and you can talk.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Greg as
I mean,
well.
we can work that out.
Yeah,
But instead of doing a full classroom, half load,
Right.
half load, they're gonna be doing 4 days basically of tours. And
Right.
from what superintendent told me, there'd probably be about maximum about 50 kids on site at any particular time. So they gotta do like 4 or 5 tours a day to get the 900 kids in by Friday. So it's a little bit of a familiarization with the building, with what's there, you know, kind of getting them in. And
Yeah.
the educational component, I guess, is gonna be online like it had been at the end of last year. So,
I mean, is there like a student orientation type
well,
period?
that's what this is gonna be this week.
Yeah, they normally have one, but I'm sure how they. change it
Instead
this
of a
year.
day, they're gonna do it for the whole week and get kids really familiar with the building and where
Yeah.
they go and how it operates and that sort of thing. So I just heard that today. So he,
Literally just happened.
yeah, and I guess the superintendent was
Yeah.
gonna send out a robo
He did.
phone call. Yeah, and I guess he did. So he
The
called
other-
me and said, what do we put in this phone call? I said, well, you know, you could say, hey, we're there.
The other thing to add to that is they're gonna be an orientation, so I did another video with the principal, and we basically went through the school to orientate them to the school, okay, so here's your main entrance, if you have an instrument, you're gonna go in this door, that type
Oh,
of thing. So
okay.
we went in
Yep.
detail throughout the
Yeah.
whole building to explain to the students, and that is being finalized right now and edited with Mark Russell, and that's gonna be distributed to the students by the end of this week before they come to the school.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I think we made a lot for it.
All the time.
Hey, Bob.
Howdy, guys.
Hey. Well, we did it, there was a lot more teachers that are students.
Hello. Oh, we had you for a minute.
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh,
You're just making some
I'm
funny,
still here.
yeah.
okay.
No, I do have a quick question, if I could, Tammy. The construction fences that are running along Route 1 at the moment,
Yeah.
is there a schedule for those to be coming down?
Supposed to be tomorrow.
By the end of the week, Bob.
Perfect.
And what'll happen, part of the fence, and they'll run it across the field. They can continue the site work.
Okay.
And the fence around the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
So those areas that will be secured.
There's still gonna be some temporary fencing up on.
Yeah, just those two areas.
Great, it'll be nice to put those fences down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a request by site work along that bank, Fort Hill, as opposed to Weed Central, so we'll just with the process. Once people sit down, we'll get a little better look at what the slope is.
Right.
Good, thank you.
Put up yet,
Change order. For the list of possible things that we may want to vote on
Yeah.
to have done. Any word or discussion?
Oh, did I send that out? If I didn't
That-
send it out, I'll get it out to you guys. I thought I'd sent it out.
I apologize, I didn't bring copies.
You guys have something else probably to deal with right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get a bunch of other things, so once, yeah, I'll get on those the next week and get that, because I
So I'm just
started.
trying to figure out how much money is.
Well, I started
what's going
updating
on.
it. So what I did, just financially, just a quick run through. I did go through the budget as you saw last time around. The budget, and we don't have a budget this time because we're working on, we're changing the financial system here in town. So if you don't see an updated numbers on there, it's been a real effort trying to get this change over to this other system. But I've gone through the budget, I've gone through the expenditures, I've gone through what's encumbered, and we're not necessarily spending all the money that's encumbered. So what is our total cost going to be? We're still estimating in the area of 6 to 7 million probably will be under the project budget at the end. So once I get that finalized, we'll be working with Arcadis and their financial folks to verify those numbers and make sure we know where we're going before we can.
All right, because it's a question I have more so for the elementary.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for the middle school?
No, I think we're good there.
Okay,
Thank you, Ken.
you're welcome.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. There.
Thanks.
So unfortunately, I've been captured by the middle. And I've been sort of, got Kelly over there, elementary school, all the details of what's going on there.
Going like this.
Yeah, I know, and I'll be able to catch up next week. So once we get that place open, I'll be able to catch up with the elementary schools, and I am keeping tabs on it, obviously, but some of the stuff I don't have to get involved in so much. So Kelly, it's all yours.
So Cutler, we are continuing with site work, continuing with site connections with utilities. We're doing site lighting, running our conduit to the light pole, putting that in the front of the school. We are doing MEP Ruffins in area A and B, which is the admin area, cafeteria, gym area, while we are finishing up swinging steel in area C, which is the 3-story classroom wing. By the end of the week, we'll probably be done swinging steel in area C and moving the crane over to area A. And then as well, also in area C with steel going on and finishing up, we are decking. So putting our second floor decking in area C. And besides that, our mason has mobilized and they are building our stair 2 and stair 1 walls in area C, and then some shear walls in area B.
So
Basement is finishing up and we just got our demo permit. The demo will begin tomorrow.
So this has been pretty exciting. We've all been waiting to see steel goes up. So it's been, what, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now that they've been doing that.
Yeah, they flew through it.
Yeah, so that looks like it's standing us in good stead. We have, typically at each project, we have testimony. Kelly and I have talked about it, superintendent, if I get up here, the last beam probably for the gymnasium, put it out front here for kids and parents and whoever want to sign it to there. We got to get it back to the site by the 21st of October, but we really haven't set up a date yet that beam's going to be put in place. So the details haven't been worked out yet, but we are pursuing that, and obviously West Side is going to be a little bit later than that. So that process is going on.
Okay.
Our efforts to save the tree is gone forward. We got a set of plans. We got the water line has been put in the road. So all those things that we had talked about are in process. We're just finally getting organized. Kelly gave you a change order log. The option was to make them the same as the others, so we only have one format to look at, so we can understand everything. And thanks to Brian, he got his project. Our program is a program, so we can look at that, but we haven't got much into the change order business yet, as far as actually signing those yet. We have talked at the various meetings about the values that are out there and that sort of thing. So
We get the date column back in.
okay,
In this change.
yeah, sure.
I like that. And then
Yep.
The other thing was the CE numbers initially and those tag things.
You don't really,
Those went away, those line items went away.
So
you don't really need to see numbers.
I don't know where the line items went away.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I'll try to explain to you the reason why that we sort of did that from a standpoint of methodology and consistency across the group, right? So the contractor puts these, numbers on these numbers that you're referencing. And so, we see numbers. And so they're their identification of potential costs, right? So they're not encumbered or they're not realized costs at this point. And they're sort of, high level numbers that they like stuff out there. We found in the past that sometimes this artificially inflates things and may look in a way that things are, sort of running in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And to provide you that information is essentially fine, but to be consistent across all things, the way that we did it at the middle school, so we decided to keep it even here because we felt that, excuse me, that in a way, it's not really, it doesn't give you folks any information that's valuable because they might put $100,000 on that, but we didn't even have time to really vet to verify that that's in contract or not in contract, right? So if we show that to you folks, I mean, that's fine. But the problem is with doing that is you may be like, oh my goodness, this is $1 million worth of stuff. By the time we get down, nailing it down, tying it all back to the contract, leaning on the number, verifying it, saying, no, I'm sorry, you can't charge us $800 an ounce for stone, or whatever it may be. That, we whittle all those numbers down. So the idea is just to present you with the costs that are real and that are truly encumbered and that have been vetted already. Because if we give you non-vetted numbers, then it's almost like we're, giving you some false information for you to have an idea around.
So that's great. Right? So it exists in the contractor's head. Nothing's been formal. The numbers don't have any numbers. So okay,
that's the reason why
that's good. I just didn't know.
Yep, I just wanted to make sure you understood that it wasn't, it's not a.
What Brian, contractor was putting numbers that are against a contract allowance he has with the subcontractor, which really is meaningless to us because the values include. So like Brian says, it inflates the numbers and this is causes confusion. So just like you saw, he said, what happened to these 20 numbers? Well, they were.
I mean, we haven't agreed that they're even legitimate.
Right.
So that's the deal.
Yeah, I firmly understand that's great.
Okay, great.
The date would be awesome.
The date
No, the date's fine, no problem. I just wanted to let you know. I mean, fully transparent here about what's happening. So.
Okay, that's great. That's good.
I think I just want to know that we're going to see them in a timely fashion so that we can actually, look at them, understand them, and then work with them.
Yeah, no, totally understood. And Bob, I think that once we have them in a real format and something that has been vetted, then of course it comes to you folks for you to take a look at it without question. Like I said, the idea is just not to give you unvetted numbers and say, this is the deal, I mean, you should expect from us, as your consultant that, you know, we've given all the contract provisions and clauses a good once over to make sure that, you know, that these are valid and not just the contractor's wish list of additional money.
Yep, understood. Thanks. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And in our contract with our GMP, we have very few allowances, maybe a couple on each project. So those numbers are encumbered in that thing, which are more valuable for us to look at because that's money that's necessarily returned to us in the contract with the contracts with OMG. That is, you know, basically expended, encumbered part of their contract. So potentially, I guess at the end, we could get something back if they don't spend all the money that they were contracted to, but it's several layers down, so it's difficult to track for any of us at this point.
Well, maybe you can help clarify one thing for me.
Sure.
Middle school has its budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elementary school has two budgets, being one for each
Yeah.
location.
Correct.
Being that we changed from renovate to building new, again, on bringing down of both buildings and everything else,
Yeah.
is that a separate budget, or
No.
is that strictly in the elementary school budget?
It's in each of the elementary school budgets have
Okay.
contain the demolition, the abatement, all that, if that's your question.
That part there.
Yeah.
Now the portables.
The portables were contracted to be demoed. We asked you folks if we could move them for the Board of Ed because Sam had come to us and requested that. They're being moved. That was a change order to the general trades contract to move those portables.
But that's coming out of the elementary.
That would come out of the elementary owner's contingency.
Because I was actually wondering about being that we have possibly X amount of dollars left over to middle school.
No, you
And
can't
I
mix those
wasn't-
projects.
I was just looking some way if we
Yeah.
had a separate budget.
No.
Where we can transfer
Right,
with
right.
big money. And
No.
the other end.
No, Kevin, those are all three separate projects.
Yeah, state doesn't allow that, so that's kind of where we're stuck with that stuff.
I was hoping it was a fourth project in there
Yeah,
to play with it.
no. We weren't.
Or save it.
Just we need
Let's
a
start the
fourth
fourth
project.
one. Where are we going? So let's do it.
Concession stand.
The portables are actually coming at the CN contingency.
Yeah, so they would.
Yeah,
so
I
they-
understand.
so
I
they
was
would-
just looking right now, and I'm looking at the money, and I'm saying,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
here's 41 and change. If we're running tight on the elementary, that's 41, even though it's not big money, but it's still 41 that we can push maybe in a different
Yeah,
budget,
yeah,
if it was able to. be
no,
done so.
yeah, no, not at this point. Yeah, it would be nice, we agree.
Yes, it would be, but we can't. So let's move on.
Questions for Cutler, change order wise or schedule wise? All right, so for west side, we are continuing with site work as well. We're gonna begin doing more water lines, probably about next week. We have steel began on Tuesday, so it's going up slow right now, but it's going up. We have some footings and foundations continuing in areas A and B, which is our admin area, just a couple small areas left, and then MVP rough-ins under slab are almost complete in area A and B. And then about 2 weeks, we will do our slab on grade in area B and C is he's been complete. I'm not sure if I answered that 2 weeks ago or not, but C is done and A and B will happen in a couple weeks, with steel beginning there in about a month after that. And then the south side, south area of the middle school is demoed. Abatement is almost done, and they're gonna move to the back side. Once abatement is done on that back side, they're gonna continue demoing the back, east wing of the, existing middle school. And then besides that, that's pretty much it for west side.
How much of that-
Portables are scheduled to move next week.
how much of that building from the original design, when we talked about the driveways coming in, seemed to get moved more south than they were north? Because there was always that concern, we only had a little bit of space from the house, the fence line there wasn't a lot of space, but now there seems to be more space. Did we move a little bit
No,
south?
it's only just been about 75 feet or something in there. They looked at what the setback was. The rules in the city are a little bit different than the town. I think the setback is almost minimal, so they looked at trying to do a reasonable setback, so we could also have the construction access road go along the north side of the building there too.
All right, then maybe it was just the paper.
Yeah, no, it
looked a lot
it
closer.
really, yeah, it really hasn't been moved from very early
I see
on.
them digging in the Heinz driveway right now, cutting out and everything else. I was just wondering.
I'll have to look at that. No, as far as I know, it hasn't been moved. So. There was some high walls that had to be put in, that sort of thing, but as far as actually moved on the site, no.
Because we said we couldn't get all the way around. Enough room actually all the way around if you
And
needed
there's
to.
also your connection to Area C, there's actually, and west side is actually like a bridge.
But you can't because of the grade. Once the grade is there and once they
Floor
put in
admin,
the,
mostly admin, and then half of your gym, half your cafeteria, and then A has the majority of it.
Okay, so it's new stuff. Okay, thanks.
okay.
Any questions for west side?
Oh, I think that's it.
I watched the steel go up and I thought you were putting the football field in there, when you first put the first few rings.
Almost.
I go, look, goalpost.
Well, we reached some goal there. Okay, I have nothing else. Brian, you have anything you want to?
No, not at all. I think we've covered a lot of it. If there's any questions or whatever.
Yeah, you know, we're
Happy to address them.
Yeah, happy to address any questions. I have really nothing else for the good of the board.
Still being signed.
Anybody else had a chance to drive by either Cutler or West Side and see the steel that's going up?
Yes. We got pictures tonight. All right, I don't think we have any unfinished business, any new business?
Not tonight.
All right, I believe that's it. We can call the meeting adjourned.
So next meeting is.
Next meeting will be the 17th.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
No problem, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. See you later.
Have a great holiday, everybody. We'll
Hey.
talk to you shortly thereafter.
You too, Bob. All right, he did that.
Early dinner tonight.
All right.
Hey, Sam, you said so much, you could have run straight home and no
I
one would
just
have
texted
known.
the secretary to see if she
What's that?
I think it is DK, I don't know. Because I texted the secretary to see if it's Dan.
Yeah,
But just, if she wants to.
No, it's fine. I already got all the notes.
Oh, something like that.
okay.
I just made another.
I just tell her, my mother, I'll have her call the school tomorrow. And then that way there, she knows. Okay, thank you.
Like I say,
All right.
Can I have these?